Ladies and gentlemen, we have another controversial decision now in Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili 2. And let's end this debate by seeing who really won this fight. Now, the fight was fantastic. A great display of skill by both fighters, showing new wrinkles in their game. Zhang Weili definitely showed her grappling skills. Excellent scrambling in this fight to keep up with Rose, where Rose was able to show her fight IQ and adapt in the fight as it was playing out to start winning the later rounds, as the first three start to be a bit dicey for her. Rose Namajunas has officially beaten Zhang Weili for the second time, this one by a split decision, where all the judges gave the first round to Zhang Weili. A lot of people believed if Rose was going to win one of the first three rounds, it was most likely going to be the first round. Second round was given to Rose, and the third round was given to Zhang Weili as well. Fourth and fifth obviously went to Rose. Now, we are definitely going to look at that first round because publicly, that was the most controversial round. If we have to look at the third, we'll look at the third as well. Now, in order to have the most accurate way of judging this fight, we have to categorize every single strike in accordance to damage. Now, according to the judging criteria, damage trumps all, and let's get right into it, man. Now, we start the fight, and Zhang Weili lands 6 leg kicks. One of them will count as a medium attack because it definitely lands pretty hard on Rose. The other ones just graze her. And then we get to it in a bit of an exchange. Rose lands her own inside leg kick. Zhang Weili returns with one of her own. Then Rose engages her with a combination. A 1-2-1, jab right cross, and then a shifting jab which causes a little bit more damage, really gets Zhang Weili's attention, and then ends it with a leg kick as she slips on the outside of the right straight. This was a great sequence from Rose Namajunas. Rose lands a jab, and then as Zhang Weili misses her leg kick, Rose engages on the outside foot with a winging left overhand into a right low kick. Weili slips the jab as she lands a right low kick, but as she's planting herself, Rose attacks with a right hand which misses. As she sets up for the left hook that actually shakes up Zhang Weili for a moment, settles into the right straight as she ends the combination with a right low kick, also getting hit by Zhang Weili's right hand to the forehead. And this is where Weili gets the outside trip as she gets the body lock. With that, able to settle into half guard, and then when Rose is able to get the guard, Zhang Weili didn't have much success in passing it. She really didn't get much done on top, which doesn't constitute as effective grappling. She landed 6 ground and pound shots, all pretty weak, and that big punch that a lot of people were talking about, even the commentators were talking about, it actually did not land. She does land a light kick, and then Weili lands another 6 other ground and pound shots, all light attacks. They both land a knee to the body, not much leverage between the two. Rose lands a forearm into the chin, and then as they disengage from the clinch, Rose misses her left elbow. Weili's able to land a left kick to the chest, which didn't have much power in it, due to the unbalance from the clinch disengagement. A good leg kick by Zhang Weili gets a good reaction from Rose. Both fighters glance right hands. As Rose extends a jab from a distance, Weili eats it and lands a bigger right hand of her own into another left kick to the chest that gets partially blocked and caught, as Rose returns a leg kick of her own. Rose lands another leg kick, Zhang Weili returns a 2 of her own, and then when Weili slips while throwing the kick, Rose capitalizes on her and throws a powerful right jab that stumbles Zhang Weili. This was the most powerful strike of the entire round, and Rose is able to capitalize with another left hook on the inside that also causes damage as well. And that is the end of the first round. Tallying up all the strikes, as well as looking at that takedown, Zhang Weili landed 11 more total strikes than Rose Namajunas. They both landed the same amount of medium attacks. Zhang Weili almost doubled the light attacks, and Rose has the only heavy attack of the entire round. And you do have Weili having the takedown, so this round was very difficult to judge. The damage is almost equal, it slightly edges to Rose Namajunas' side, but the cumulative damage from Zhang Weili as well as the takedown, I believe, gives her the first round, as Rose's immediate impact wasn't really a huge factor in the round. The damaging shots that she landed wasn't that much more damaging than what Weili was landing. And with that, we're going to jump right into that second round. Weili starts off with a big leg kick, followed by a big darting jab from Rose. So we are starting off strong here. A light leg kick from Rose as Weili is able to get over the shoulder with a big left hook. Then Rose attacks Weili with a grazing left overhand, followed by a right straight to plant for another low kick, similar combination that she threw in the first round. That leg kick was actually pretty big on Weili too. Rose rises up with a left hook, but she hits Weili with her forearm, which actually causes a great amount of impact, gets a big reaction out of Weili, and then able to backstep away with the right straight. Weili grazes with a right overhand, doesn't get much of a reaction out of Rose. Weili lands a leg kick as Rose grazes with a left hook. Another leg kick by Zhang Weili, but then she gets intercepted by a big right straight from Rose that gets a big reaction out of Weili. Then Rose is able to dart in with a big shifting left straight that causes a great amount of impact. Weili lands a leg kick as Rose lands 2. And now here's the big moment of the round. This is where it looked like Rose Namajunas got rocked, and automatically a lot of people gave the round to Zhang Weili because of this moment right here. When we actually look at this, Weili lands nothing on Rose. She throws a left hook and it goes right under the armpit. it looked like Rose and Weili collided heads, and that's what stunned Rose, not any kind of punch that Weili was throwing. It could also be a combination that the floor was pretty slippery. Just like everybody was slipping tonight, Rose slipped there as well. There was no big shot that Zhang Weili landed here, so Zhang Weili, thinking that she hurt Rose here, she engages and runs right into a side kick to the face that wobbles her. Definitely a heavy attack. Rose checks a kick, and then Rose throws that same high kick she knocked Weili out in the first fight with, but this time Weili was able to also partially block it and catch it. And that's where Weili was able to get the fight to the ground. But even still, Rose is able to land a big up kick off of her back. And as Weili tried to cover distance in order to get away from the kicks, she falls into a hammer fist. Weili lands one ground and pound shot and then a big right that connects on Rose. That is Weili's heavy strike in that round, by far the biggest strike she landed in the entire round so far. Another right hand to the body, Rose checks a leg kick, Rose again rises with a left hook and lands with a forearm, but this time not much impact. Rose lands two knees to the body as Weili returns with one of her own, and that's where Rose was able to get the body lock takedown and land two ground and pound shots, one big one and then one heavy punch that stuns Zhang Weili, and that is the end of the second round. Tallying up all the strikes and the damage, Rose Namajunas easily won this round by a landslide. Almost double the light strikes, two more medium attacks, two more heavy attacks, and almost double the total strikes, as well as getting a takedown in the fight. This was an obvious round for Rose Namajunas, and honestly speaking, when this fight was going on live, I thought Zhang Weili would have taken this round because I thought she rocked Rose. The fact that Zhang Weili landed nothing in that sequence means that Rose easily took this round, which means Rose Namajunas won the fight. She won the second, fourth, and fifth rounds. But we're going to look at that third round just to see who won it and how close it actually was, because that was another controversial round according to the fans and the judges. So we start the round and Rose throws a front kick which misses, but then she brings it downward and connects on Zhang Weili as Weili retaliates with a leg kick of her own. Weili lands another leg kick, Rose glances a jab, Weili lands two grazing body kicks as Rose returns with a front kick to the chest, inside leg kick by Zhang Weili returned by an even bigger leg kick from Rose, the first medium attack of the round so far. Now as Rose misses her left jab, Weili was able to counter her with a really good check left hook, another big leg kick by Rose Namajunas, and then Rose lands the biggest punch of the round so far, a winging right overhand on the inside of Zhang Weili's left hook. Definitely gets Weili's attention. Rose lands a jab as Weili lands a big leg kick, Weili with a kick to the chest, Rose lands a leg kick, Weili glances with a right hook, but it does get a good reaction out of Rose. Leg kick by Zhang Weili, but she slips as she throws it, takes off the power from it, and Rose is able to connect with a glancing left hook. Two shoulder strikes from Rose, and then two punches from Weili. They both throw a leg kick, and they both check the leg kick. Jab from Rose, a left hook from Weili. Neither really get much of a reaction from their opponent. Leg kick from Weili, a reaching right uppercut from Rose. As Rose ducks under the right overhand, she's able to land a right hand to the neck and then a follow-up left jab. Weili lands a leg kick, and then Rose lands a big left hook on Weili that gets a big reaction out of her, and Weili lands her left hook, but it lands to the neck instead. And that's when Weili was able to get the single leg takedown, didn't establish the back take, but eventually did wind up into full mount, but only able to land two ground and pound shots, one good elbow that gets partially blocked by Rose's arm, and then a light left hook to the body. And that is the end of the third round. Tallying up the damage and the strikes, Zhang Weili barely outlanded Rose Namajunas. She landed two more medium attacks, but Rose had a heavy attack, the hardest strike of the round. But then again, Zhang Weili also had the takedown. The damage is almost even, with Weili having more success, more effective grappling in that round. So ultimately, you're going to have to give the third round to Zhang Weili ever so slightly. And with that, we know how all the controversial rounds go. First round goes to Zhang Weili. Second round goes to Rose Namajunas. Third round goes to Zhang Weili. Then the fourth and fifth go to Rose. So did the judges get this fight correct? They actually got it exactly how the fight should have been scored. Rose Namajunas winning this fight by 48-47 is the correct scorecard with those exact rounds. The 49-46, I can see the argument after looking over the fight again. It's actually not as crazy as I thought it was, but look at the fight accurately. This fight was a 48-47 for Rose Namajunas. She fairly won the fight. This fight was not a robbery. Rose Namajunas is going to go down now as one of the greatest strawweights of all time, possibly 1 or 2 more fights away from being the greatest strawweight of all time, and that is so exciting.